to the David Lindsey podcast, episode 4. And I'd like to welcome Stig Jacobson. Thank you. Stig is the current regional general manager for the Oakview Group, based out of the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. And for those of you who don't know, the Oakview Group, they have over 50,000 employees. They oversee 400 venues across the globe. And they have just dedicated over $5 billion to develop new arenas in the next 3 years. Oakview manages arenas like the UCF Edition Financial Arena, as well as the McCormick Center in Chicago, which I think is the largest convention center in the U.S., or close to it,
in
right?
North America, yes.
In North America.
Yeah.
The Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
And the Miami Beach Convention Center, just to name a few. So just a few well-known branded arenas, right?
Yeah, fresh out off the press too, so you probably haven't seen that one yet. But we just took over Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
we taken over the Raiders. And
You guys are taking over the world.
Yes, so that's our first NFL stadium, so we are really excited.
Oh, that's great. First NFL stadium.
Yep, so
Okay.
we taking over that building on April 1st.
Okay, so I know but what does that mean, taking over? I know that you kind of manage a lot of the F&B and the events. What does that mean, taking over these type of venues?
So we are just going in and taking over the management there. So it's another group that's in there right now, and we won the new contract with the Raiders. So we're going to do the food and beverage in there.
Okay.
Just like in McCormick, we did the same thing, but we're doing the venue and everything there. So it's exciting when going in a new place and you have to figure everything out and make sure that we can live up to the standards that we want.
So does that mean on NFL game day, your group is managing all of that? Concerts that coming in, food and beverage, your team is managing all that?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I cancan't answer all the questions with that one yet because it's so new. So I don't know all the details about it, but I am going out there myself on March 30th and going to be part of our dinner that we're going to serve for 3,500 people on April 2nd. So
just 3,500.
Yes.
So this is kind of like the who's who from Vegas, I'm assuming, or just
No, it's actually one of the hotels out there that have something for their employees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I know it's crazy when you think about the number of years that we have in this industry. And I know you have nearly 35 years experience in the hospitality and F&B space with Norwegian Cruise Lines, City Club, Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort, Disney Signature Restaurants, and then, of course, the Oakview Group. And you still continue to deliver exceptional results. What do you think is the reason behind why you continually excel and reach goals and give just that little Stig experience to whatever you're doing that brings the event to another level? What do you think is it about you that people recognize?
I think it's my foundation. I did a lot of schooling, geared around the hospitality industry, and came on a cruise ship, as my first job out of school, and thought I knew everything. Coming on a cruise ship, I learned pretty quickly that I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So you have to learn a lot. But a cruise ship really kind of molded me from the person I am because there is no room for mistake there. You run out of milk, you can't go across the street to Publix and buy some more.
That's true.
So attention to detail it's very, very important, and I think kind of carrying that with me wherever I go. And then in the later years now, it's just trying to give back to the younger people who wants to make it in this industry. I'm not afraid of talking about mistakes that I've done in my life and talking to them about it so they don't have to do the same mistakes. And, you get a really, really good crew around you that really enjoy that. And I'm very blessed with having good people around me.
Well, let's go back to Norwegian. So you came out of school.
Mm-hmm.
What was the role that you had with Norwegian? And were you, obviously there's no room for error, but you had to have learned from somebody. Was there, or were you, because I'm sure you didn't just go in and take over all F&B with Norwegian.
No.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah. I didn't actually start with Norwegian Cruise Line. I actually started with Cunard in England.
Okay.
So when I came out there, I came on one of the, I think it was Vista Fjord was the first ship that I went on to. And I started as a bartender because that's all I wanted to do. So, 4, 5, 6 years of schooling, I just wanted to do something fun, see the world.
Yeah.
And I came out there and kind of fell into the job that I first got then. It was 3 weeks of a bartender, but then they found out I spoke English, broken English, that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was a lot more than the other bartenders did. So
Yeah.
I actually become a bar manager, and that's just started that whole career.
Okay.
So from bar manager to food and beverage director, then on to hotel director, and that's how I finished up my career with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. So how long were you with Norwegian?
About 9 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So. And then you moved on, and I know that. How did you find yourself in Orlando? When did you move to Central Florida, and what was the role that you took on when you came to this area?
So I was working at the Destin Golf and Beach Resort at the time, and the recession came in 2007, and they laid off a lot of people, and I happened to be one of them. Mm-hmm. And just had my second son when that happened, and as a new dad, started freaking out about how we're going to make ends meet here. So I decided there and then that I wanted to find a company that is not going to lay you off for the first sign of trouble in the economy. Mm-hmm. And was on my way to Fort Myers, actually, for an interview in Sanibel Island. On the way there, Disney called me out of the blue and asked if I had found a job yet, and somebody had told them I was looking for a job. And ended up driving from Sanibel Island back up to Orlando, had my interview, and started with Disney 2 weeks after that. So,
okay.
Came in there and run outside catering for them at Disney Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, and then moved on over to Epcot and merged all 4 parks in one department that we call Park Events Operation. And I was there till about 2010, and then I went over to the Signature Restaurant area, and I started working some with beverages as well on the beverage team that works worldwide for Disney.
How was it working for all the parks? Was that more of a challenge than the cruise ships, or was that more? I mean, that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of food and beverage.
Yeah, it was a challenge, because in Disney, you're setting up a park buyout, for instance, for Microsoft is one that comes to mind. You get very little time to set up a park, because they don't want to close down for the regular guests, So you get 20 minutes to set up for 26,000 people. So you have to come in from all entrances in the park.
Yeah.
We're rolling buffets out on the street with food actually in the chafing dishes when we're rolling it out. So it's just so fast and furious. But, very different from cruise ship. Cruise ship, you had a very captive audience when it came to your workers. If they didn't show up for the work, I had the master key for the cabin, so I go down there and knock on the door, and all of a sudden they had work.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
But, coming to the U.S. after that and learning the ropes around call-ins and all the things that you had, it's more employee stress here than it is anything else. On cruise ships, we did not have employee stress.
Well, yeah, if you had the key to the room, I'm surprised you can just go, come on, you're supposed to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
How was that? Just while we're on that topic, because I know that as we went into COVID, there was so many jobs in the tourism and hospitality area. And this seemed, that was the first, especially in this market and in hospitality, where we saw so many jobs affected and companies affected.
Yeah.
Where did all those people go? Because I know that's maybe $1 million question, but so many people, with what you do and with the theme parks, and now with a new park opening with Universal, Epic, and those are tens of thousands of employees.
Yeah.
Do you have issues with that? I mean, what do you do to fill those gaps? Are you okay? I mean, are they coming back? What are you seeing there?
Well, I think that everybody is back now. Myself, I went to work for Amazon. I couldn't sit at home, so I was delivering packages just for the heck of it and having fun. And I saw this position coming up, and I just applied for it for the heck of it. And here I am 3.5 years later, and really, really found a company that I love working for.
Yeah, and been promoted.
Yep. So been very blessed there. So, but I've hired people out of Disney. We have a lot of good people out of Disney. So my AGM, he's from Disney. That's Tomas Gudmanis, and then of course Boris Perov, who was one of the managers at Victoria and Albert. So I put him. Okay. I put him in charge of Judson. So you can only imagine that the service is good in Judson. So, today it's all about hiring the right people around you. It's really, really important.
Well, yeah, because you can't do everything.
Nope, you cannot.
I mean, especially with multiple venues within a venue.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. And it's a pretty vast array of type of events that are coming in there. Plus, I think you oversee Judson's or some of the stuff, right?
So Judson, I have everything in the building, but it's also, with my travel schedule, I have to have very smart people to keep up my, expectations when I'm gone on the road as well.
Well, let's kind of just go back just a little bit to your time. I believe it's at the Grand Floridian, right? You worked at the Grand Floridian after your theme park days. And in our relationship and getting to know each other over the last several years, one of your highlights while you were there is either you were asked or how did it come to you? You created the syrup for an old fashioned that was. You were on the Today Show, right?
Good Morning America.
I'm sorry, Good Morning America.
They were shooting there, and that was the one drink that they wanted to feature on Good Morning America.
Yes. So how did that come to be? And maybe tell us a little bit about that.
We were building Enchanted Rose at the time, which is the bar up there. It's absolutely beautiful on the second floor, behind the orchestra, where the orchestra used to sit.
Okay.
And it used to be Meissner's Lounge up there, so we beautified it and became much larger. And in this space, we were looking for some things that haven't been done in Disney before. And, one of the things were, a $25 plus cocktail.
Yeah,
And it was.
Yeah.
So, I always had such a passion for bourbons and brown spirits. So I started playing around with making a syrup for this, something completely out of the box. We were going to open in October, so I wanted to have something that tied into holidays as well. So I took cranberry and ground them up and cooked them down with brown sugar. Brown sugar has a little bit of caramel in it, so it lends itself really, really, really nice to bourbons. And this came out, it was so good. With some blood orange bitters in it, and we used Widow Jane bourbon with it.
Okay.
Absolutely fantastic. So we charged $27 for it because the bourbon was so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And little behold, the first month we sold over 4,000 of them. And
okay, so at $30 a pop.
Yeah, so
not bad.
It became so popular, and we had a few other drinks too that we played around with. But nothing could stop this drink. And I know that now they have made a new syrup, but I think that opening syrup, stayed there for almost 3 years. So it was supposed to be a seasonal old fashioned, but they wouldn't let me change it because it was just selling
so
that
good.
Well.
Yeah, people loved it. So how was the experience with Good Morning America? Who was there and tasting your?
One of the bartenders. I stood in the back, so I didn't want to be on
Oh, you didn't want to be on camera?
No.
Oh, man. Well, you're on camera today. So.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't see him, I think.
Oh, man. Well, if we have you back, we'll have to have that experience. Maybe we make a craft here. Or
we could.
Taste the spirit, right? I think we could do that.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to come and shoot it at Judson, too. Because we making it there. I know it's true seasonal old-fashioned at Judson, and right now we're on a blackberry syrup, but a blueberry syrup is going to come very close. Very soon is what we're planning on next, and then we're going back to the cranberry syrup for the holidays again.
Okay. Well, I'm not a bourbon connoisseur, but I enjoy a nice bourbon every once in a while. What is it? I mean, now that we're kind of on this subject, but what is it about a nice bourbon that people can look for if they don't have the palate or the taste for it? What is it that you look for in a good bourbon?
So I mean, it all depends on how you like your liquor. Bourbon is very special because you have to look at the proof. Some bourbons are low proof, starting around 88, but they can go all the way up to 130, 134.
Oh, wow.
And those drinks very, very hot. It's very, very rough on you. You have to kind of put some ice cubes in there and let it sit a little bit. I prefer the ones in the low 90s because they are, you get much more of the flavor out of it.
Okay.
And, you can taste the oak. You can just taste everything. When it gets too hot, I feel like I'm losing the sense of the taste.
Okay. Now, is that something you take under consideration when you're filling the bars at the venues, like your kind of own personal appeal? Or do you have stats or surveys that what your clientele want? How does that? I mean, there's got to be a whole system that of what people are going to buy, because you don't want spirits sitting on the shelf not selling, obviously.
It's true. So I'm just trying to cover the whole spectrum. I mean, you can't just have my taste because you're not going to have 150 Stigs coming into that restaurant every single day. So you have to kind of find something that everybody likes. So, I'm looking for a lot of things that people haven't heard before. We're getting a good allocation out of Kentucky as well. A lot of our bourbons there, and then special things. People. don't want to pay $500 for a bottle of bourbon, but they come in there and they buy an ounce of it just to taste it. So you kind of have stuff in there as well that people can, they always wanted to try it, but they didn't want to buy a whole bottle. So that's how you're doing it as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, because I think you spend most of your time at Dr. Phillips, and it's a relatively newer venue. I mean, how long it's been there? How long has Dr. Phillips been there now for the community?
They opened in 2014. And
wow, 10 years already.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but they only opened half the building, So I came in August of 2021, and the biggest thing for me to focus on was to open the rest of the building, which was the Steinmetz Hall, which is the only N1 theater, definitely in the U.S. Probably.
I'm sorry. What did you, N1?
N1. Yeah.
What does that mean?
That has to do with the sound. How clean the sound is in there, and you can't get any. If a fire truck drives by on Anderson Street, you can hear it inside of the Walt Disney World Theater. If the same fire truck drives on South Street, you cannot hear it inside of the Steinmetz Hall.
Okay.
So that's kind of, it's just so clean and pure. So that's where we have all of our operas and orchestra performance are mostly in there because it's just the best room for sound.
And, I mean, with multiple theaters, there's thousands of people in that venue. Is it open 7 days a week?
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
But, we don't know. Monday is kind of the only day of the week that it's kind of dark. Judson that's the only day Judson is closed.
Okay.
But we have performances every other day.
So, I know you work closely with the marketing and sales and PR, but you guys have varying from Broadway. I mean, there's a Broadway series that comes in there, right? I mean, 5 or 6 Broadway productions annually, I'm assuming, right? Or is it more or less?
This year, I think we have 9.
Oh, you have 9?
Yeah,
okay.
So I think it's 15 weeks total.
Okay.
So some of them are smaller, but Lion King is coming in May. That's going to run for 4 weeks.
Okay.
We're starting tomorrow. We're starting the second week of Michael Jackson.
Okay.
So
I've had some friends go to that. They enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
Yeah.
So we just finished the first week of that, so that was 2 week show as well. So, but it's pretty exciting schedule.
And then you have the ballet, right? Orlando does some stuff in there, and then. But you have to have a ticket to a show in order to be able to go to Judson's. Is that
That's
correct?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
But then you have to make a reservation for Judson's as well?
Yep, you do. You just buy the ticket the same way you would do any shows. And in the building, you go in there and you find Judson. There's a link on there, and you can just buy any show that you want.
Well, I have to do all of those things, Stig.
Yeah.
Man, where does the time go?
No, it's interesting.
Well, listen, I know that. We played enough golf together that my passion's for golf, and this industry, you never know who you're going to run into.
That's right.
And one of my bucket list items is to attend Augusta. Well, you took it one step further when we were having a conversation. I think you've played Augusta.
I have.
Twice.
Yes.
It's still hard for me to wrap my head around that, but I think it's kind of a cool story and maybe an experience of, like I said, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know the impression that you're going to make on that person. And do you mind sharing that story? Because I really think it's cool, the kind of how you ran into them, the impression, what you did for them to kind of salvage what was going on at the time, and then how they kind of played it forward and you got to play Augusta. I think it's a great story.
Well, I'll do it as quick as I can, but we were basically sailing New York, Bermuda, and I did that for a couple of seasons. We won the MS Dreamworld at the time, and we had a friend out there that I played golf with. I met him on the golf course. We played mid-ocean. He's a banker. He was from Canada, and he had a bank in Bermuda. And we got friends, and he called me one day on satellite phone of all places, and he had a little predicament. He had a board meeting, but he didn't have a room to have the board meeting. So he asked if he could use my boardroom on the ship, and I said, absolutely, yes, no problem. They come on board, did a board meeting. We interrupted the board meeting because we decided we were going to serve them lunch too, and which was he didn't expect, and he looked like a king, and he was very appreciative. And I think it was a couple of weeks later, he called me again on the cruise ship, and I said, no, you need a boardroom again? And he said, no, I need you and your golf clubs, 5 o'clock, because we stayed in Bermuda three days in a row. Tomorrow morning, I want you at the airport with your golf clubs and your passport. And that was all he said. And I was there, and I didn't know where I was till I drove up Magnolia Lane. So
then he knew where you were.
Huh?
Then you knew where
I
you
knew
were.
exactly where I were.
Unbelievable.
But then I was speechless for 10 minutes. I mean, it was just the eerie feeling of driving up Magnolia Lane. It was just amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I was there for a practice round, and I couldn't even look down Magnolia Lane. I can't imagine driving down Magnolia Lane and then seeing a caddy with my name on the back of his outfit, getting ready to caddy for me, going up hole number 1. So how'd you play? Was it
absolutely horrible?
was it just nerve wracking or?
My knees. When I stood on 12, I went through aim in the corner. My knees were shaking so bad. I mean, I think I hit 2 balls in the water on 12.
Oh, that's okay. At least you can say you hit 2 balls in the water on 12, right?
So, but that's why I got to play a second time, because he felt so bad for me. He took me back a second time. So, and I played much better then. But I broke 100 on the second time.
Okay.
But, that's. And we didn't play back with the professional playing either.
Well, that's okay. Do they? I don't think they even have those tees open, do they? Yeah, you can't even play back there.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I didn't pay attention to that. I just looked ahead. So.
Yeah. Well, we've, I've got 3 boys, and I know you have 2, and I know that they've been friends. Talk a little bit about the importance that they play, in your life, and kind of what they're involved with now, and do they have a interest in the hospitality and F&B world? Are they kind of out on their own, doing kind of work, creating their own paths? What do they like to do?
So I think that they're both trying to find their way, which they should at this age. So they are 18 and 21. They both going to Valencia. One, Taylor, who's the oldest, he's taking a business degree. Because what I always told them, if you don't know what you do, a business degree, you can use it always.
That's
right. So it's not a wasted of time. The younger one, he's working on his AA right now, and I don't think that he has completely found his direction yet, but he's talking to someone about architecture and the different things. He wants to travel a lot and shoot a lot of video and get on YouTube, just like this. So that's his dream. But they mean a lot to me in my life. I didn't have a dad when I grew up, and my grandpa raised me, and being there for them, and all the needs that they have, I want to be there. And as far as working, they both work for me at Dr. Phillips.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Taylor, he's a server in Judson, and Toby, he's a barback for the concession. So they make their own money, and they get to learn what that is all about too, because you got to work, and you got to provide.
Well, it's interesting when they start making their own money, how their choices differ a little bit as opposed
exactly
to
right.
Sometimes I don't feel like they understand the complete value.
No.
Of the money that they have until it's theirs and they have to go buy whatever they want to buy. Right?
Yeah, so we had a little conversation about buying a van, and and I asked him, okay, well, that's great. You want to live in that, that's fine. But do you know how much the insurance is for that? No, I don't know how much the insurance is. And then all of a sudden, the light bulb goes off, and said, oh well, I need a little bit more money than I thought I do. So.
Oh yeah.
But it's just to figure out all this together, and talking about it without discouraging them, because you don't want to do that.
No, and you want them to find out, but without discouraging. It's funny. Yeah. It's spring break for Nick and Matthew, and they came in Saturday, and Nick decided that he was going to bring 4 of his friends from school. Okay, no problem. But you are going to play the role of hospitality.
Yeah,
and you're going to be the one picking them up and dropping them off at the airport. So he's had 3 of his friends come in separate flights, and he's come home. He's had to go back to the airport. You know how MCO can be.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I had to drive around the airport 10 times before he came out. It's so frustrating. It's ridiculous. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We told you. And then, as 18-year-olds, they don't really coordinate. They don't know how to schedule. And he's like, yeah, we're trying to help. We're trying to help him coordinate. And so when they come in, I think he's going to come in Monday. Well, no, it turns out they came in yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to go to some of the local water parks, but they had to cut short because they had to go to the airport.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to watch it all unfold. I'm like, okay, but that's how they learn.
It is.
And without experiencing it, maybe next time he'll put a little bit more thought, a little more planning into it.
Yeah.
And talk to his friends, be like, why don't you all try to get on the same flight, or why we're come in the same time. Yeah. It's just funny. So you're right, but you want to encourage, you don't want to discourage.
Yeah.
Because we were all there.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we've made it. to where we are today.
But it's so much easier to plan today because we didn't have no cell phone like that when we grew up.
No cell phone, no Waze, nothing could tell us where to go.
Calendar.
No Outlook calendar. No. It's
it's a different world for sure.
It's a different world, but I think it's great. Talk a little bit about your new role as you take over venues like Allegiant Stadium and some of the other ones. When you go in there, are you helping to build a culture with the team that's already there? Are you bringing in a new team? What does that look like for you when you go in there and you start working with the new teams and the new venues?
So the venues that fall under me, I have DPAC up in Durham, North Carolina, and then also in Macon, Georgia. There I can help build a culture. But what this company really specializes on is that the support is always there. So we I think in June, Post Malone and Jelly Roll is going to have a concert there. It's already sold out for 76,000 people.
76,000?
Yeah. So
wow.
We will probably have 60 manager in for that comes in for other venues just to support, to help out because it needs it, especially for a new venue when you're trying to make sure that everything is running smoothly. But you can always ask for help. Even if I need help here for something big here in Orlando, I can ask for help, and it'd be 20 venues that would email me back in 10 minutes and let me know if they can send somebody.
Okay.
And you can get very specific in the needs that you have. If you want concession, you want catering manager, you want premium services, anything you want. So, people that work at UCF here can be very helpful out there. Same at Orlando City Soccer, when you have premium services, because the premium services here are the same as they are in Vegas. So we already send people out there who have all those standards graded in them, and then that's how you help out over there. It's a little bit different out there because there's a much stronger union part in Vegas.
Same as Chicago, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So, you have to get the buy-in from them in different ways. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Well, Orlando's blessed to have good venues, but, you're probably part of some of the inner workings when you have, Florida Citrus Sports and some of the other local organizations that are bidding on some of these bigger opportunities like the World Cup or Olympics or, other things like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we have the venues, but, and from a hospitality side, but there's something lacking, right? As to why we're not getting some of the larger type of opportunities. Like we missed out on the World Cup by they went to Miami instead of Orlando as a host city.
Yeah.
Is it just the and I'm saying this in a negative way at all, but is it just the venue that needs some upgrades, you think, or just is it the preferred premium opportunities that these VIPs need that are coming from across the world to experience a World Cup game, or because it can't be the hospitality or the food and beverage or what they can get, because Orlando can offer it all.
Yeah, no, I'm very unsure why we don't get it. I agree with you. Why wouldn't you have it here? With Disney, with Universal, with SeaWorld. It's just so much here even for families to come in. So I think that the spectators that would come into Orlando, they would just be so happy.
Oh, yeah.
So I really don't understand.
And the number of hotel rooms. A couple 100,000 and new ones on the way every day.
Oh, absolutely. So I really don't understand why it didn't end up here. I actually served a luncheon. That was one of the first functions I did for Oakview Group when I came in because they had the bid luncheon over at Orlando City Soccer.
Oh, okay.
So, and I know the food was good, so that was not the reason.
I'm sure if you had something to do with it, I know the food was good.
No, we got good chefs.
Yeah.
We do. But the service was good. It was fun over there. there was a lot of people coming in for it. So it was there. We're close to it, but I don't know why we don't get it.
But does Oakview kind of manage all the Orlando venues, or they're just particular? Is it just Dr. Phillips, or do you do the Orlando City as well, or do you do?
No, I only have Dr. Phillips here in the area.
Okay.
So we have a general manager over at UCF, and we also have a regional general manager for soccer stadiums. Eric Hasse is over at the Orlando City Soccer Station.
Okay.
So, and he also have a stadium up in Biloxi, and he's actually doing the new golf, Tiger Woods golf experience down in West Palm Beach.
Oh, wow.
So that's us as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm sure you have seen that on TV.
The TGL?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's growing. I think it's really gaining momentum, and I think now they're looking at different venues and building new venues across the country and bringing in new teams. I think they're talking to some LPGA members.
Oh, yeah.
And so once they start bringing in more and more of these, including the LPGA and including venues on the West Coast, making it easier for these pros so they don't finish up at Pebble Beach, have to get on a plane and fly to West Palm for an event.
Yeah.
More and more of these guys are going to want to be involved, I think. And it's a perfect time, right? And now you're going to, well, we don't need to get into that, but, between the PGA and LIV and these PGA golfers getting the opportunity to now participate in some of these other fun opportunities that these guys can't. I think there's going to be a ton of, but that you bring. So you are part of all that. People don't sometimes see all the behind the scenes. Like we just had Bay Hill here over the weekend.
Yeah.
And a lot of those premium opportunities that happen within those.
So that's actually Oakview Group 2. So
oh, really?
All the food and beverage there is done by Spectrum, which is one of our divisions.
Okay.
So
wow.
all the tents and everything that you see there, that's all what we do as well.
So you guys construct and build all of that as well?
Spectrum does.
Spectrum does.
Yeah, so they do all of that. They do big festivals and things like that. The Balloon Festival out in New Mexico. It's a huge company. So, but we bought them. We bought that whole the company. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys provide they just work. You guys work hand in hand as far as the F&B.
Yeah. So
well, the food's good. I was out there Saturday, and
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the variety that you get.
Yeah.
And it's hot. It's good. People love it, and that's why. Listen, it's the signature event in Orlando is what they market it as, and the hospitality and the networking and just the fun that people have. I think sometimes the golf gets lost in the mix. Although yesterday was a pretty exciting finish, but I think that just to expand on that a little bit, we had some opportunities along the 9th fairway there, some community-based events that represented kind of a birdies and barbecue on Saturday. And then they had a food and wine event that celebrated all the restaurants in that whole area on Friday. And then they had another event like a Throwback Thursday on Thursday, which raises tons of money for the community and local charities. And I think the Arnold Palmer Foundation, if I'm getting correct, we'll have to cut that out of here. But everything boils down to food and beverage.
Yeah.
That's my point. And so that your roles and the people that work for you, it's very important to produce a premium event that people are willing to pay a few $1,000 for.
So
and host their clients, Yeah.
So we're also getting involved with LIV. So I'm doing the next 3 LIV tournaments here in the United States. So we're going to Doral. I have a team going to Doral with, I think I have 12 people coming out of Dr. Phillips doing Doral.
Okay.
And that's April 3rd, I think it starts.
Okay.
And then June 1st, we're going to Washington to Robert St. Jones to do there. I have another 12 people going up there, and myself, I'm going to take in the one in Chatham Hill in Indiana in August.
Oh, so LIV is going to Indiana?
Yep, Chatham Hill.
Oh, okay.
So that's under my team as well. So it's a good time for me to travel because June and August isn't too busy at Dr. Phillips. So, keep the team busy.
Yeah, sounds good.
And help out some other people as well.
Well, that's interesting. Is that something, because I know that that LIV just replaced their, like Greg Norman just decided to step back and take on some new roles, and they brought in a guy from Merlin Entertainment as their new CEO. So I wonder if there was a relationship between that guy and some people with Oakview to make that happen.
I think so. I think it has something to do with Spectrum as well. So, but I don't know all the workings behind it. I just know that we're going to help out with the suites and, some of the fan spots and things like that and do the food.
Okay.
So,
wow, that's a big get.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't realize you guys were behind Bay Hill. So, I mean, kudos. I mean, everything was fantastic out there. And I know everybody was having a good time.
Spectrum and Dave Smalley is the president of the company, and he's an awesome man. He's got a good story.
How do you maintain your passion for what you do? Being in the industry for over 30 years, what is it when you wake up in the morning and you got an event for 3,500 people or 67,000 people? Because ultimately it's providing an experience, whether it's 10, 3,500, 67,000. What is it that gets you out of bed in the morning knowing that, man, I got this amazing event? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What is it about this industry that excites you and you continue to be passionate about?
So it's never 2 days that's the same. So it never gets boring. You always have different kinds of opportunities. Some would call them challenges. I always call them opportunities but it's fun to be kind of a problem solver. And you have to think a lot, and you get to have fun with other people and teach other people, and you can draw back from experiences that you had 30 years ago because you did something, and then you can pull it back out, and it still works. So just the challenge of different situations that you get into. Doing a dinner for 1,300 people at Dr. Phillips out there on every single. You were there for it.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
every there for Advent Health. Amazing, right? So that building is not built for that, nor do we have a kitchen for it. But just to get all those logistics together, that's a lot of fun, and it's really interesting.
Well, do you find the team and the people that you have? One of our other guests said one of the things that's made him successful or is being coachable, and that's one thing that he looks for in team members that he brings on to identify that as a strength, to find out if they are coachable. Are people that you're bringing on board, do you find that they are coachable? Because that's like you mentioned Advent Health. These are people that are coming, donating, and being a part of an amazing experience that Advent Health puts on over a 3-day period, and they represent not only Oakview, Dr. Phillips, but is that a challenge? Is that something? Is it something that the culture just brings that out of them? What is it about being coachable or the employees today that you find to be the biggest challenge?
So I think it's how you hire. I'm trying to hire people. I don't want anybody who just be yes people. I want to have a dialogue with people. So
you're going to push back.
I want to have pushback, because if I had to have every smart idea in that building, we would fail.
Right. That's right.
So I can throw ideas on and start an idea, but if somebody else grabs a hold of it and they develop it, that's what I want. So that's what I'm looking in people. I want people who are self-starters, not afraid to speak up, because there's always a better way to do things. I always say, we can work on a project and it can take you a year. By the time you finish and you think you're done, it's time to start over again, because what you did for a year ago is no longer valid.
That's right.
So you always have to find people who is challenged the same way and wired the same way. I don't want them to think like me, absolutely not, because then it just becomes my thoughts out there. You have to have broad experience and different experiences and people who's willing to speak up.
And so, that speaks to your level of confidence, right, and leadership, to be able to trust people to want to learn and to grow. I would assume with a company like Oakview, if you stand out, there's opportunities to grow. And that's what you want, right?
Yep,
because that
absolutely.
just proves your leadership and what's made you successful for all these years.
Yeah.
So what's the next trip? Where is that for you? Where are you going to be going, and what are you going to be doing? And is it a newer venue, older venue, just kind of incorporating some new stuff?
Well, one of the most fun part I get to do is that I get to work with some of our salespeople. We're going after new venues. So I do a lot of tours on new venues. So I'm going to Fort Lauderdale and looking at Performing Arts Center down there coming up here shortly. And then we're working on something up in Pennsylvania as well. We visit something up in Boston just recently, 2 theaters up there that we're working on. And so that's when we go in and sometimes we're trying to take over the whole thing. And so we give them, a contract to see if we can earn the contract for them. So I'm working on that team as well. So that's a lot of fun. So
what is if you're going into a venue, and I'm sure there's some sort of an RFP that's been set up, or maybe not.
That's what we do.
RFP. Yeah, RFP. What is, because a lot of times relationships have been built, and the challenge is, oh man, we got to make this change. What is it that you're finding that is bringing people from whomever they may have been working with to the Oakview group? What is the biggest difference that you're finding? Because obviously the success is there with over 400 venues and being international and bringing on new venues all the time. What is it that separates the Oakview group from who they may have been with in the past?
I think it's our people, and also the drive to be a disruptor of what's normal. Okay. Think outside the box, and we are not afraid to try new stuff. We are not afraid to fail. Doing a mistake is just a mistake. Mm-hmm. It's nothing else. If you do the same mistake twice, then it's a different story.
Yeah, that's right.
But you have to fail in order to get better. And I think that we do that at Dr. Phillips Center. We do that in other venues across the country, and then it's really, really exciting. You have a lot of smart young people in this company. I'm obviously not one of them.
You're young. We're both young, Stig. We're both young.
But it's I think that's what set us apart. And this team is dedicated to guest service. You know, we understand guest service. You know, shortcuts doesn't really make it. You know, you got to do the right thing. Even when people are not looking, you have to do the right thing.
Well, I mean, that's well said. And obviously, it's been a proven point of now you, with all the venues you have and continue to get. You know, certainly appreciate hearing from you today. And, you know, as we begin to wrap up today, what is it about, you know, with the people that are listening today, you know, piece of advice or some knowledge that you want to share for those that are coming up in, I mean, it's obviously with the UCF, the Rosen Hospitality, and UCF, and a lot of the other schools that we have here locally, with their focus on hospitality, they hear a lot. But what is the little Stig nugget that you would like to share from your experience as to what makes people successful in this industry?
I want to say avoid naysayers like a plague. You know, young people coming up today, ask questions. Don't be afraid to try new things. Just know that going into it, you know, you're not going to win every battle. Fight for the battles that you can win. And I think that's it. I mean, you don't have to make it difficult. Just stay away from the naysayers.
Well, I think it's great. And I think it goes back to, I think sometimes people or new employees might be intimidated by, you know, somebody of your stature that's been in the industry for years, and they feel like maybe you don't want to hear anything new because you've been doing this. But in actuality, you do want to hear something different. You want to be challenged.
Yep.
And I think you will recognize that if you see people coming up. I mean, they say there are no dumb questions.
Yeah.
There may be some dumb questions, but you know what I mean? If these kids coming out of Rosen or Valencia or wherever they might be coming, and they're not afraid to ask a question, you notice that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you kind of notice from that point on those type of kids.
Yeah, and, you know, one thing for me is that I don't know everything. Far from it, you know, but I know where to find answers, and that's very, very important. So, you know, I don't never try to pretend that I do know everything. You know, that's a dangerous, slippery slope.
That's right.
And I always trying to have some experts, you know, being the HIM, technology isn't always my best side, but I have somebody hired on my team that is, you know, super smart in that area. And, you know, I'm the first one to tell him, I don't know this. And it's okay. So you have to be vulnerable as well.
Well, I think that's wise, and I think it's a good spot for us to leave today, Stig. And, you know, we certainly appreciate you coming on and appreciate your friendship and coming and sharing a little bit about your career, and wish you the best with Allegiant and other venues.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, and we look forward to hearing more about it. But thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you.
All right, Stig, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.